Hi, welcome to MediatorPodcast.com, a podcast and video series about mediation, negotiation, and collaboration. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online valuation, divorce, and mediation services in St. Louis, Missouri. In this week's episode, we will discuss the benefits of divorce mediation, co-parenting, child support, and future expenses with Erika Englund. She's a family law attorney in California, a trained divorce mediator, and founder of Divorceably. Currently, she's also the CSO of Support Pay. A lot of times what we'll do is there will be maybe a child support payment, and that child support payment is to cover, certain expenses, right? Or to even up the income of two people. But then you take it one step further and say, okay, so we've also agreed that any extraordinary expenses or sports or, because who knows? I mean, they're going to have interests that they might not have when they're 6, when they're 12, so what are some of your, but those types of things, the families could say, the spouses could say, well, we've decided on a 60-40 split or a 70-30 split, which I'm going to let you kind of describe. But what are your best tips on tracking those kids' costs or splitting the costs in the future when they talk about some sort of, not an even split? So like you bought a coat, it was $100, you owe me $50, let's go a little bit deeper and say, how do we really do this in reality?
Yeah, just even knowing and conceptualizing that you're going to have those conversations is an important first step, because the biggest reasons people tend to get divorced are lack of communication and problems related to finances. So then you get divorced and you have children, and you realize that even if you have a base amount of support in place, you're going to be incurring these additional expenses week after week and month after month and year after year. So you have to talk to your spouse about money for maybe 5 or 10 or 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a tool to guide you through that and help you manage that is so important. But a lot of people don't know when they're going through the process that will be so helpful to them, because they're really thinking about, okay, I got base support. Okay, they haven't gotten to the point yet where they go to buy the coat and then they ask for $50. And then their former spouse says, coats don't cost $100. Mm-hmm. And our court order says I'm not paying for a coat. And if you want that coat at your house, keep it at your house, and I'll buy a coat for my house. Surprise, surprise, you guys have different money management styles, and you have trouble communicating about money. So welcome to the world of everyone who's ever been divorced before. The amazing thing about our company, Support Pay, which is the trusted platform to manage child support payments and expenses between parents, is the parents don't have to discuss it. So you should have a court order that articulates which expenses do parents split. For example, if my daughter is in competitive soccer, and here in Folsom, Northern California, where I live, the competitive soccer teams start going to Europe when the kids are in middle school. Not my kids, because we're low achievers. Is my goal with parenting, is just set the bar low. But so then the parents are like, oh, am I on the hook for a $4,000 trip to Europe? So one thing is just articulating in these expenses, like what expenses are you going to split versus what are things you can't automatically assume someone's going to share. And then what is the split? The default tends to be 50-50. I pay half, you pay half. But there are parents that have really unequal incomes. Mm-hmm. So maybe we look at their support calculation and we see you've got 70% of the income and I've got 30. So we're going to split expenses 70-30. Mm-hmm. So whether it's 50-50 or 70-30, You don't even have to do the math on it when you have an app like SupportPay, because you just put in the expense of the coat. You've already set the default for what your split is, and then it just automatically sends the notification to your former spouse and says, hey, coat, it's an upload of the receipt. You just like click scan, they get the notification, coat, okay, $40. And if they don't like that, then there's a dispute resolution process that they can go through on the app. So it's this really amazing tool to address a problem that a lot of parents don't know exists. But when you think about the fact that you either have to continue to talk to your co-parent about money on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis for the rest of your foreseeable life, or you don't have to talk to them about money anymore, those are two like really different ways to live. So whether my clients were high conflict or low conflict, it's just taking this thing off their plate that they really don't like to deal with the finances while they're married. And after divorce, it's a whole new level. So for $80 a year SupportPay, we have a free version, of course. Our premium version with premium support starts at $80 a year, which is about less than 15 minutes on the phone with an attorney, right? It's gonna, you can make your monthly support payment, you handle all your additional expenses, there's dispute resolution process, and there are impeccable records. So if for your taxes, you need to know how much you paid to childcare, got a perfect record.